Okay, everyone, it's 9 o'clock. Welcome to this webinar.
Thank you.
We can get started. The basic rules, as you know, please mute your microphone.
Hi, I'm on a conference call. Fine.
Please mute your microphones and speak only when you are given an opportunity to speak. You can keep your videos open, and if you need to speak, please type in the chat box on the side, and we'll take all questions step by step. I will call out the names for whom needs to speak, and you can get started. We will now request Edel, you would like to start?
Yeah, welcome everyone, and yeah, we can start right away. We have five speakers, so we would like them to take maybe 5 to 6 minutes each and cover their respective areas, and then we can open up for Q&A. So let's start with Farrokh Mistree. Farrokh, your audio is off.
Yeah. IST, please put the slide up.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a minute. Yeah, are you able to see it?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. One second. Hello.
Yes, go on.
I'm talking to India. Mama's asleep. Bye. All right. So I put these few slides together for the webinar titled Financing for Higher Education for Indian Students. Next slides. Next slide, please.
It's on.
Yeah. Yes. On this slide, I have summarized what the ZFN Faculty Network is about. So the first issue is the vision. The vision is that we are looking at a partnership between the Global Working Group and the World Zoroastrian Chamber of Commerce to partner with Zarathustra faculty in academia and empower Zarathustra students to learn how to create economic, cultural, and intellectual value. Now, this is a bit different to a traditional thing saying, well, we want the person to be to go out and get a degree and then get a job and then make money, then settle down, then have a family. What we're looking for here are people who have learned how to create economic, cultural, and intellectual value. And the reason for that is that we are looking for people, not too many people, who are going to be leaders in the community in the long term. So for example, Edel has made money, and now guess what? He's involved in giving back to the community. Jasdi Tatra has got a very good business going, and he's giving back to the Zoroastrian community. Dinsha Tamboli has done the same thing. So we are looking for people who have the talent to succeed, and succeed through entrepreneurship through in business, and also in academia, and then give back to the Zoroastrian community in different ways. This giving back is not limited just to India, just to the United States, but to the global Zarathustra working community. So our focus is to complement the activity undertaken by trusts and well-wishers. So for example, the folks in Hong Kong give money to a lot of students to go and study. The R.D. Setna Trust gives money. The J.R. Tata Trust gives J.N. Tata Trust gives money. So we don't want to compete with them. We don't want to do the same thing. We want to complement the activity by focusing on finding out, supporting 2 or 3 people who go and work with Zarathustra faculty around the world in academia, get their degrees, and come back and reinvest in the community. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So for the next 12 months, our focus is as follows. We want to identify 6 Zarathustra faculty and 3 Zarathustra business people who will be actively involved in developing the Zoroastrian faculty network. We want to place 3 Zarathustra students in graduate programs that are fully funded. This program is not for undergraduates. This program is for graduate students, and it's open to placement with Zarathustra faculty anywhere in the world, and Zarathustra faculty who are particularly interested in providing an opportunity for students to learn how to be successful entrepreneurs in academia and in business, so that then when they become successful 5, 10, 15 years from now, they will continue to reinvest in the Zarathustra community. We are planning 4 webinars to make Zarathustra students and their parents aware of how to prepare competitive applications. We've done one, which is primarily focused on engineering. We are looking to provide other webinars dealing with law, dealing with business, dealing with the humanities and the social sciences. What we hope to do in the next 12 months is to get some seed funding to jumpstart the ZFN, and that's what this particular webinar is about. And then we need to identify people who would support the infrastructure. That means organize these meetings, keep track of who's going where, all this sort of stuff to make things. So we have 5 goals that we wish to achieve in the next 12 months. Next slide, please. Yes. So our immediate critical needs are Zarathustra faculty to design, implement, and ensure continuous development. Support from Zarathustris to manage the program, including correspondence, web development, follow-through, and networking. Support from the World Zoroastrian Chamber of Commerce business community in terms of internships and raising seed funding for the ZFN. And the 4th one is what today's webinar is about. Support collaboration from organizations that offer scholarships to Zarathustra students to pursue higher education. And so with that, I will pass it on to the next person who's going to speak. I have done my bit.
Next person would be Farrokh Rustomjee.
Good morning, everybody. Our trust, that is the R.D. Setna Scholarship Fund, 1938, primarily to help students achieve higher education and thereby be good citizens, build up communities, and prosper in life. We have been supporting students from communities since 1938 and provide substantial scholarships in the form of loan scholarships. Students studying mainly in technical, scientific, and industrial fields, so that we are able to give back to society what our fathers envisaged. Our program is very simple. Application on hard copy, not on a soft copy. You can't apply online because we don't want to be flooded with applications. Choosy in selecting our scholars. The screening process and the trustees scrutinize each and every application. Funding. The amounts are not predetermined, but are based on the information provided by the student in the application form. Since these are loan scholarships, guarantee that the money is returned back to the trust so that it helps more students achieve what they want to achieve in education. So in that process, we do take a guarantor, guarantee the repayment of the loan. Apart from the student is equally responsible to repay the loan. Interest rate is very, very low. It's just 2%. Additional safety measure, we ensure the student policy on his life, and the policy has to be assigned to the trust. The repayment terms are very easy also. The student, after completing his studies, to repay the loan in a period of about 3 years. Moratorium After finishing his studies, his or her studies, repayment starts. It's a very simple program. Hundreds of students are helped each year, and crores of rupees are given out as scholarships. We are one of the largest. We look forward to receiving more applications. Thank you.
Thank you, Farrokh. We now have Neville Shroff, Zoroastrian Charity Funds of Hong Kong.
Now you can speak. No, next person.
Neville, are you on? Yazdi, can you hear me?
One sec.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. All right, this is Zoroastrian Charity Funds of Hong Kong, Canton, and Macau. We normally support postgraduate students traveling or studying in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Singapore, anywhere really, anywhere in the world, provided they're doing a postgraduate degree. We also do support undergraduates to a certain extent, and also to primary and secondary school students as well, under certain circumstances. But basically, our focus is on postgraduate students. Now, our loans, our scholarships are loans, so it's a loan type of scholarship rather than a donation. And we depend on the integrity of the students concerned to repay whenever they can. Normally, students repay within 2 to 5 years after they've graduated. And we have a success rate of return on the loan of about 30 to 40%, unfortunately. The balance of the students say they need more time to repay. We have a very simple, actually, a very simple form structure which you apply. You state your qualifications, your undergraduate qualifications, your proposed postgraduate degree, the university that you have been accepted in. We need an acceptance letter from the university, and more times than not, we require that we remit the funds directly to the university concerned, as opposed to giving the money to the student or the students' families. So we prefer to give the money directly to the university concerned, if that is possible. The loan amounts are usually between $3,000 US to $4,000 to $5,000 US dollars. On average, about $4,000 US dollars loans we give. We support actually over 60 to 80 postgraduate students from India going abroad. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the postgraduate students applying today have already applied to us in Hong Kong already, because I've received in the last few months about 54 applicants from India for postgraduate degrees just in the last couple of months. So we do, and we're very happy to be a part of this initiative. We're both from the Global Working Group perspective as well as from the Hong Kong Zoroastrian Charity Funds perspective. And we're here to help any postgraduate students who require assistance in any way we can. Basically, financial assistance more than any other kind of assistance. Thank you very much. Could you hear me?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Neville. Appreciate it. The next speaker is J Ravishankar of Tata Trust.
Farrokh, is he online?
Sorry. I have made a WhatsApp call to him in America, but he's not responding. It's in
Okay,
Mumbai.
then maybe we go on to...
Is any of his assistants available? He was
No, I've phoned the office, but there is no answer.
Okay.
So let's go on to M George of Parsi Educational Foundation.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Swapnali. I'm from the J Tata Endowment. Even Mr. Ravi Shankar is online, but I feel he has unmuted his conversations. Hello, sir. Sir, you have to click. You have to unmute the conversation.
Swapnali, you should
Even my
start
colleague
unmuting.
Ashleisha is also there. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
One second. I'm unmuting him. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Me now?
Yeah.
I
Hello.
am.
Yes,
I
Mr.
have.
Ravishankar, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I can speak now.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Plus, sorry about this, and please pardon my appearance. I'm on vacation here in San Francisco, but I couldn't say no to Mr. Rustomjee, and okay. So it's not Tata Trust, as specifically we are the J Tata Endowment for the Higher Education of Indians, the oldest of the first trust set up by the founder way back in 1892. We also offer a loan scholarship. It's called a loan scholarship because we don't charge any interest. Although on paper, we do mention there is a 2% interest, to this day it has never been charged. Yeah. So it's a loan scholarship. It's open to everybody, whatever the stream that the student wants to study in. It's open only for master's, PhD, and postdoc. It's not available for undergrad studies overseas, specifically. And the student should have done undergrad from an Indian university. If you're an Indian citizen, but you've studied undergrad in an overseas university, you are not eligible to apply for the J Tata Endowment. This is mandatory. Yeah, you have to be a student from India. So, over the last 2 years, what we have done is we have shifted to a completely online process. So we do advertise, but the ad itself is a very small ad, which directs the student to our website, where the entire instructions, everything is given on the website. And the student applies. There is a registration process. Once we verify the email ID, the student then applies online using that email ID as his registered ID. Yeah? The entire process is transparent and open. And as I said, over the last 2 years, what we have done is we have introduced an online test to screen applicants, because we receive something like 1,200 applicants. So we obviously cannot address all those 1,200 students. So we follow a system of scoring based on their academic performance, their GRE score, GMAT, TOEFL, IELTS, their work experience, their co-curricular activities, any research work that they have done. So based on this, we do an initial screening of students. So from that initial screening, a short list is made, who are then chosen to appear for an online test. This year, I mean, fall 18, this online test is based on what is broadly understood as thinking skills assessment. It's followed by Oxford, Cambridge, King's College, Imperial. Most of the UK universities follow this system. It's a very simple, it's not subject specific. So irrespective of your background in your undergrad, you should be able to take this test. So once a student does, I mean, this year we had roughly about 700 students who took this test. So from which we make a short list again. So we had about 274 students shortlisted for a personal interview. Out of which I think about 270 took the interview this year. The interview is conducted by the director of the endowment along with a subject expert. And the subject experts are drawn from this year all over the country. We have IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Patna, DIFR, KJ Somaiya, BARC. Sometimes we bring in professionals. I used to work in TCS, so I have brought in some of my colleagues in TCS, senior people who are researching in a particular area as subject experts. It's a fairly rigorous interview where a student is examined on what they have studied so far, their subject, and the area that they plan to study. For instance, If they say they want to be doing a master's in computer science, then we choose a subject expert in computer science, and the student will be evaluated on computer science. So what we have attempted this year is to really find a very fine balance between the subject expert and the specific study. So even if it is computer science, if someone is going for, say, machine learning, then we find somebody who's not just a master's in CS, but somebody who's a specialist in machine learning, or it could be robotics, or it could be embedded system, or biomedical devices. So the idea is to examine the student in depth and in detail, because the mandate is to reward the best and the brightest. And the only way we can be sure that we are rewarding the best and the brightest is by putting them through a rigorous interview. So this year, about say 270 people have taken the interview, out of which we have finalized, I think, if my colleagues will correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 101 or 102 students who will be eligible to get the loan scholarship. It's a maximum of 10 lakhs of rupees, but the student who gets this loan scholarship is entitled to also get a travel grant of up to a maximum of rupees 50,000, and is also eligible for a gift scholarship, but that is based on their academic performance. So there is no automatic guarantee that a loan scholar will get a gift scholarship. So that depends on how well they fare in what they have chosen to study. But that depends. If it's a one-year master's in the UK, then we go by the first semester performance, if it's available to us. Otherwise, based on their final report, we still give them a gift scholarship, which can go up to a maximum of rupees 7.5 lakhs, which they don't have to return. The loan scholarship, obviously, they have to return, and which they have to do by the end of the beginning from the end of the 4th year, and by the end of the 7th year, they have to finish. Normally, over the last 12 years, our default rate is 0. So, and we hope that even in future, we will continue to have this kind of a default rate of 0. Until 2 years ago, we used to have an endowment policy going up to 12 years, which is signed by the student and they pay a premium, which is assigned to us in the beginning. And once the loan is completely repaid, we reassign the policy back to the student. But 2 years ago, we dispensed with this system. Now we give loan scholarship without an endowment policy. So we trust the students will repay. Going by our record, we don't have any reason to believe that, at best, a very small minority might not repay. But so far, we have not seen that over the last 12 years. So let's just hope that something like this continues. Yeah. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Ravishankar. Just out of interest, I happen to be a Tata scholar from 1966.
Oh.
Okay. So let's go on to the next speaker, M George of the Paras Educational Foundation.
Hi, good morning. So I represent the Paras Education Foundation, and we are into US dollar denominated education loans that we offer to students who are going abroad for their education, predominantly for their studies in the US. These loans are available to students irrespective of their level of education, which means whether the student's going for their graduate studies, undergraduate studies, PhD studies, etc. All levels of education are eligible for this loan. And also these loans are available for all streams of education. So it doesn't matter whether the student is going for a technical stream or a non-technical stream, every stream is eligible for these loans. Interest rates on these loans, because these are US dollar denominated loans, are quite low. Interest rates start at about 4% per annum. The repayment period is 10 to 15 years, and usually during the period of education, the students are expected to service the interest on the loan that has actually been disbursed, and their actual principal plus interest repayments start 6 months after they've graduated. And there is no limit on the amount of loan that you can take. So typically in the US, a master's education costs about $100,000 over a 2-year period, and an undergrad education costs about $150,000 to $200,000 over a 4-year period. The loan can cover the entire cost of your education. So that's one of the biggest advantages of the loan product that we have. The other advantage is that this loan requires no collateral, mortgage, or security. So you do not need to, or the student does not need to mortgage any physical asset, fixed deposits, etc., to take or be eligible for these loans. Now, essentially, there are two kinds of loan products that are available in the US dollar denominated loans. The first loan product that is available is a loan product which requires a cosigner. Now, because this is a US dollar denominated loan, the cosigner needs to be someone who is living in the US. So anyone that the student knows, a family member, friend, relative, etc., can be a cosigner for these loans. And if the student has a cosigner, an eligible cosigner, the rate of interest starts at about 4% per annum. So the rate of interest is incredibly low. However, obviously, there are lots of students who might not have anyone in the US who is either eligible or willing to be a cosigner. So we also have loan products, or also have another loan product which requires no cosigner. So that's a completely unsecured loan product which requires neither a cosigner nor any kind of collateral, etc. However, that is given basis the student's profile. So the student's academic results till the point of their education, till that point of their education, the university that they are attending, their other parameters such as their GRE score, etc., are taken into consideration while giving out these loans. This loan, because it's a completely unsecured loan, the interest rate starts at about 8% per annum. So a little higher than the loan where you have a US cosigner available. However, still the interest rate is significantly lower than the loans that Indian banks and Indian financial institutions offer. The loan application process is fairly straightforward and simple. It's a completely online process. There's no hard copy documents that need to be signed or hard copy forms that need to be signed. Everything is online. You or your cosigner can complete the entire process from the comfort of your home. Usually the total process takes about 3 to 4 weeks, including the actual disbursal of the loan, which happens directly to the university. So that was a brief overview of the loan products that we offer, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George. What we'd like to do now is, if you can go to your chat button and type in if you want to ask a question, and we'll go in order and let the individuals ask the question.
Sharmeen has a question for Mr. George. Go ahead, Sharmeen.
Hi, I think I saw Charlene's question on the chat. I think her question is, what about the eligibility of our loan products for countries other than the US? So the US dollar denominated loans are not available for students going to any country other than the US. The only exception to that being if you are attending a university which is headquartered in the US but has a campus outside of the US, like many universities do in places like the Middle East, also in some Caribbean islands for medical schools, and Canada, etc. But largely it has to be a US headquartered university.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else has a question?
Any other questions? Go ahead, Zubin. What are the prospects of loans for students pursuing masters in literature?
Can I answer that? I'm Farrokh.
Yeah.
Yes, we do support the subject for higher education, and you can apply. You can also go through our website for more information. That is www.rdsetnascholarships.org. Scholarships is plural. Or you can email me on office@rdsetnascholarships.org, and we will be happy to respond immediately.
We will be putting the contact details on online and circulating it to all the participants. So you need not worry about that. For each of the speakers, we'll be putting the contact details in terms of their email.
Thank you so
May I
much.
join? May I just add another point, please?
Yes, please.
Even responding to the student who asked about loans for literature anywhere in the world, as I said, the J Tata Endowment is open to all the streams. Whatever is your discipline, you're welcome to apply.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Firdosh, go ahead.
The next question is Firdosh Balsara. You want to ask a question?
For the fall semester, exactly.
Anyone would like to take the question?
Yeah, Firdosh Balsara says, for fall semester, when does one start applying for loan scholarships?
So let me explain the J Tata Endowment. Yeah, we normally release an ad in December, and the ad is open for 3 months. This year, we closed the ad on the 12th of. There is a registration process, as I explained. They have to register by 12th of March, but the applications must be submitted by the 19th of March. This was this year. It will be more or less the same way in for fall 19 also. So students should look out for the ad in the month of December. And it's a combination of newspapers, their online editions, digital media, including WhatsApp and other forms of social media. So it's a fairly well extensively advertised program, and they should be, they should look for it in the month of December.
We are also thinking of making a website for Zoroastrian Faculty Network, and we will request all of you to send in your ads to us also, so that we can publicize it online, and all the participants can get the benefit of it.
Yeah, sure.
Can I also address that question on the timing of the loan application? So as far as the Paris Education Foundation is concerned, we don't really have a specific timetable. So students are eligible to apply anytime after they have finished with their university application process. So that would typically be from, say, about December or January and going up to July, by when they are getting ready to start flying to the US for their fall semester. So just keep in mind that it takes about 3 or 4 weeks to get your loan processed, but you're free to apply at any point of time.
And Farrokh, can I also address this question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. We advertise in the month of April, in the month of March, and our application forms are issued from 1st April onwards. And for foreign studies, we close the applications on 31st May. For students in India, we close on August. But if there are some exceptional cases, we do consider and relax the timing and help the student to achieve what he wants to achieve. Thank you.
May I also add just one more point, please?
Yes.
Even if a student has not received a confirmed admission in a university, he's still welcome to apply. They can even go through the interview. Even at the time of the interview, if they don't have a confirmed admission, or if they are still deciding, they are still welcome to apply and go through the interview, assuming that they're eligible to be interviewed.
Okay, so going to
Okay.
the next question. Yes, sorry.
Yes, this is Neville from Hong Kong.
There's a question
Can I
from...
just...
Yeah, definitely, Neville.
Yeah, I just add to what's been said on that. Firstly, for the literature program, we have no restrictions on any sort of subject matter that the student wants to pursue, and also we also provide interest-free loans for them. From the time aspect, they can apply to us. As I mentioned, we have a very simple and basic form system which they can apply online or directly to us and ask for our forms. Normally it takes us 2 to 3 weeks to process. If there's anything urgent, they can send an email directly and put urgent on it. So there is no time limit from the Hong Kong perspective. They can apply. Basically, what we need is an acceptance. So if they've been accepted by a university, they can apply to us. Thank you.
Okay. Can we go on to the next question? It's from Firdosh Balsara to everyone. Any counseling services for Parsi students for selecting the right universities in the USA for master's programs?
Sorry, can you repeat that question, Adil? I couldn't hear.
Yeah. Any counseling services for Parsi students for selecting the right universities in the USA for master's programs?
This is Farrokh Mistree. On May the 4th, US time, May the 5th, India time, my wife and I gave a presentation to people from India in terms of how to apply for US institutions, what is expected, when it's required. And that is on the ZFN website, and it has been recorded. If you're interested in getting assistance, please contact me. My email address is up there, and we will take it from there.
Would anyone else like to add to that?
Yes, this is George, and we also help students with their admissions in the US. We work with about 200 universities in the US and are able to help students with the entire process, right from their GRE, GMAT, etc., going up to the admissions and then finally the loan itself. And this is available for everyone, including Parsi students.
I just wanted to add to this. The question is extremely valid, and unfortunately, right now, there are no formal counseling for students to choose the right university or even the subject. It's our experience in JN Tata that quite a number of students are not really well informed and often take decisions based on half-baked information and often based on very herd mentality. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. And I think the only way we can find a solution to this is some kind of an online counseling that we need to set up, where we can get in some of the best of people to join and explain to a student. Because many of them haven't thought through what exactly is it that they want to do. I'm saying this based on my interviews of about 1,200 students over the last 3 years. This has been my experience, and this is something that is very, very seriously required. And I think we all should work together to find a solution to this. And the only way I can think of this is an online or a digital mode. If somebody wants to say, we'll be happy to do something with as a joint initiative.
Farrokh Rustomjee or Neville, do you want to add anything to this?
This is Farrokh.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Farrokh, I was about to say you're the best person to answer that question, actually, because this is a part of your initiative, isn't it?
Yes.
How you want to address this. So I think you'd be the best person to answer.
So offline, I think if we could get together with those who are interested, my wife and I would be very happy to share the information that we have, perhaps in another webinar or a video conference where we focus on just this idea of advising students, not just Zoroastrian students, but all types of students. Both my wife and I have years of experience in placing people in various American institutions and also in Europe and Australia. So we're able to help, and we've got a little package put together for that.
I would just like to add that from Hong Kong, we are very experienced in the UK system and the universities in the UK. So if anybody needs any advice or suggestions based on the UK side of universities, we'd be very happy to share experiences with them. Thank you.
Okay, going on to the next question. It's from Fine East and saying, I'm undergoing 5-year master course in CS. It is a transfer program where 2 years in India and remaining years in the US. Degree will be awarded by US university. Please guide to which institution eligibility criteria fulfills.
So I'm happy to address that question. So we are able to fund this education, or the US part of the education. So once you've completed the first 2 years in India and then you transfer to a university in the US for your last 3 years, we at Paras Education will be able to fund that part of your education.
Can I add to that, please?
Yes.
Yes, we do have students coming in for such programs whereby part of the studies are in India and part abroad. And we do give loan scholarships to such students. You can apply.
If my colleague Aslesha is there, I would like her to answer this, because I think the student is eligible to apply even in JN Tata, because it is the university, the degree is given by an overseas university. So technically and logically, it would qualify as overseas education. Aslesha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So am I right? Can the student apply to, yeah?
So far, we have not supported the application because J Endowment doesn't go for dual degree. Like a few years in India and a few years final degree from abroad. So basically, it should be purely based in abroad.
So I can only say that we'll take a look at this, and then we'll clarify, so that at least from the next year, a student should be able to apply if we are able to clarify this point.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, any other input, or should we go to the next one? The next question is from J. Yeah.
Hi, I can ask my question. Good morning. Mr. Rustomjee. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
On your website, I read that one of the requirements is that 2 reference letters have to be submitted.
Yes.
So do the reference letters have to be academic references from teachers or professors, or do they have to be like from a job or something like that? I don't know. Can you clarify on that, please?
Yes, in the application form, we have a page where we require 2 reference persons' names and contact details from Mumbai, and there is also a requirement of receiving recommendation letters. As such, those recommendation letters can be preferably from your professors in the college or from persons with good standing. So there are 2 requirements. One is 2 recommendation letters from anywhere in India, and 2 reference persons whose details are required, who should be based in Mumbai.
Okay. So the reference letters are separate from the reference persons. They don't have to be the same.
No, it's not a reference letter. The reference person's data has to be put in the form.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Zubin, you got your next question. You can ask it.
Hi, my daughter has a conditional offer for studying masters in literature, but we still await results. Mumbai University results are still pending. So how do we apply for scholarships then?
We will accept the applications after the results are declared.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Neville Partiwala, maybe you want to ask your question? Neville, are you there? Okay, the question was to Mr. Rustomjee. Yeah. Okay, Neville Partiwala's question is to Mr. Rustomjee. What is the loan amount granted by R&D Setna Scholarship?
As I had mentioned earlier, the loan amount is not predetermined, but it is based on the data given in the form. That is the fees which are required to be paid, any scholarships that the student may have received, and the family's contribution, what they expect to contribute towards their children's studies. And after comparing all that data, then we decide the amount.
Okay. The next question is from Hutakshi. Hutakshi, would you like to answer it yourself?
Yeah. So I had two questions. One was that in medical colleges, some of the medical colleges, even before they confirm admission, they want 1 year's fee in escrow, or sometimes even 2 years fee in escrow. So is there any provision by which any of these funds, Paras or any one of them, could provide that? It's like a commitment, it's an escrow amount. And the second question was that I understand that Tata's, especially the J Tata Endowment, only gives loans to those who have undergraduated from India. Is there any other fund in Tata which fund students who have graduated abroad, undergraduation from abroad?
So this is George, and I'm happy to address the first question that Hutakshi had. I think this question is relevant not only for dental or medical colleges, but for almost all students going to the US. Many times universities require that they show proof of financing, in most cases availability of liquid funds in their bank account before they actually go to the US, or before they actually get their I-20 forms. Now, as Paras Education Foundation, we're not able to actually disburse the fund into your bank account. However, we are able to facilitate that happening through an external agency. So please do get in touch, and we'll try and see how we can help you.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, there is no specific scholarship program that addresses this. We normally do not, outside the J Tata, in the Tata Trust, we normally do not have a scholarship program which provides grant or a scholarship for overseas studies, whether a student has studied in India or abroad. Most of our scholarship programs outside the J Tata Endowment, they're all for Indian education.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next is from Charmin K. Would you like to ask a question? Charmin? Okay, the question is, the dental courses in the USA start at varying times depending on the availability of seats during different semesters. Will we have to wait for the next cycle, or are these special cases where applicants can be sent in late? Is the question understood?
Can I answer that, Aidan?
Yep.
Yeah. There are different universities having programs at different periods. We do accept applications for cases. We are quite flexible on that.
And can I just add, from Hong Kong, we are again very flexible on that. So there's no issue on applying any time of the year. Thank you.
Same with us. Students can apply at any point of time during the year.
Okay, thank you. Next is by J Patel to Neville Shroff.
Hi, Mr. Neville Shroff. Good morning. Apart from having an acceptance from the university, are there any academic requirements or some other letters that we have to fulfill?
Well, you have to fill in a standard basic form, which will ask for the details of your academic performances. Okay. And of course, we also require that your family income is stipulated to ensure that you fit the requirements. We don't want somebody who's exceptionally rich to be applying to us. Okay. The other thing is we like to see a reference letter from your college or your student or anybody that you are familiar with. Obviously, that assists and helps. But basically, our system is very simple. We're very flexible, and we're very easygoing on granting loans to students. So we're very welcoming and very, very supportive of students coming to us. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, the last question I have here is Firdosh Balsara to everyone. Firdosh, are you there? Firdosh's question is there any preference given to Parsi students over other community-based students in offering scholarships from R.D. Setna or Hong Kong or J.N. Tata?
In the case of J.N. Tata, there is no specific preference that we give to a Parsi student, because the basic principle is that there is no discrimination whatsoever. So we may be a bit indulgent towards the Parsi student in some way, but there is no open stated preference for a Parsi student.
Farrokh, from your side?
Yes. As I said, the scholarship is open to everybody, but Parsi students do get a little preference over the others.
Neville from Hong Kong?
We are open to everybody, but definitely we give a very strong preference to Parsi Zoroastrian students.
Can I also address that quickly? So at Paris Education, we do not have a policy of preferring a particular community. However, there are certain Government of India initiatives whereby people from minority communities do get some preferential loan options. We'll be happy to help out all the Parsi students and point them in the right direction with those kinds of schemes that the Government of India has. Thank you.
Okay, I see this as the last question on the list. Are we missing any? Is there any other questions?
Yes, I've raised my hand, but
okay.
Yeah, I can talk after once.
Go ahead.
Done with this question.
Go ahead. Do ask a question.
All right. Okay. My name is Rupali Gadakar, and I'm an architect. Worked for 18 years in India and UK, and now want to pursue Masters in Sustainable Design. I've got admission letter from University of Philadelphia last week for the course in fall 2018. So I've got only maybe 5 weeks left. So is there anything I can, within such short period, can I apply to, I guess Paris Foundation is the only right now option for me. So because education is quite small, as in short. So
I'm sorry, but the J Tata Endowment is closed for fall 18.
Yes.
But you should have applied.
I got the admission letter last week actually, and
it doesn't matter because on our website we have mentioned very, very clearly that even if you didn't have a confirmed admission, you are still welcome to apply.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So if it is possible for you to defer the admission by 1 year,
right,
I think you should try it.
Okay. Yes.
This is George from Paris Education. I'd encourage you to get in touch with us. We try and help you as much as possible. We're definitely processing applications at the moment for fall 2018. So in theory, we should be able to help you out.
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much.
I'm Farrokh here. In which city do you stay?
I'm in Pune, Maharashtra.
Yes, you can apply to us and we'll try to help you.
Thank you so much.
Techno Trust.
Yes, thank you.
And you can apply to Hong Kong as well. We'll try.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, I see that two more questions have come up. We had applied for our son's admin to everyone. We had applied for our son's architectural studies in New Zealand, but did not get any response. Now he desires to do a degree in architecture. Would we be eligible for assistance from any source?
Hi, I'm Kushru Cooper. Sorry, I had not put my name. It is admin. My son is in New Zealand, has completed his diploma in architecture, but he wishes to do a degree course. We had applied to Hong Kong at the time of the diploma, but did not receive any positive response. So we are wondering if for his degree, would there be any chance of getting an assistance from Hong Kong or from any other source?
Can I ask, is this an undergraduate degree?
No, this will be a graduation degree. That is plus.
Sorry? I couldn't hear.
It will be leading to graduation.
Sorry, how long is this course?
It will be 3 years.
It's a 3.
May I just
I need to
clarify
know.
one point? Yeah. I think that the gentleman is mistaken. As far as I can see, what he's going for is an undergrad degree. In India, we don't use the word undergrad very normally. We say graduate and postgraduate. But based on what the gentleman has said so far, I think the student is going for an undergrad degree.
Correct.
That's what it's. Yeah, it sounds like a bachelor's degree to me. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So is the architectural degree only 3 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has Hong Kong replied to you in any way? Either no or yes or anything? Any comments?
We have not applied recently. We had applied at the time when he was doing a diploma, but we plan to reapply.
Well, you can certainly reapply and we'll have another look at it.
Okay, we will forward it to the Hong Kong Trust.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, OnePlus, do you want to ask a question? Okay, the question listed is, when a trust like the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Hong Kong sanctions a loan scholarship, it is paid straight to the university. But the university I've applied to has asked me to link a bank account to them during the payment of the first installment of the tuition fees. How would you go about it then?
You actually would have to come up with the amount first, because if you've been accepted, we are happy to pay the amount directly to the university if they will accept that as an option. But if you can apply for the first amount first and then settle that, we can reimburse you as well.
Yazdi, any more questions, Liston?
No, I don't see any other questions. Anyone else has any questions, please speak up or type in the chat window. Yes, please.
Yeah, sir, this is a question to Mr. George of Farrokh Foundation. Are the Indian education loans, the Indian interest, are linked to the government subsidy of loan interest for minority community, sir?
To address your question, only loans from public sector banks are eligible for the minority community subsidy. So loans from private banks or loans from non-banking finance corporations are not eligible. And please do get in touch. We'll be able to help you out in more detail.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions?
Okay, then I'd like to thank all the speakers, Farrokh Mistree, Farrokh Rustomjee, Neville Shroff, Mr. Ravi Shankar M George, for taking the time and joining this webinar. I hope it's been helpful. I think Yazdi will be distributing a sort of a follow-up list of questions to gauge how the webinar went. We would appreciate responses to those. And we'll do something similar, I guess, in the future as the need arises. Okay. So thank you, everyone, and we'll close with that unless someone has anything burning to say.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you very much for all of you to spare your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We will be putting up the recording of this webinar online, and we will be informing you, and also the contact details of the various trusts and the individuals who have been participating here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Hmm.